this week. All right, that was the news.
And now, here we go. Hey, everyone, it's story time. This is the Hot Press.
So, of course, two teams in the AFC West that are competing against the Kansas City Chiefs after the Denver Broncos ended up doing their business, but also, too, the LA Chargers, they're on a bye week. Both of them are. They're getting some much-needed rest, but there's a lot of question marks up and on here. So joining us, who knows a thing or two about that, former NFL corner Quentin Jammer joins us here on the show. I got to say, side note here for you, Quentin. A side story. I've grown up being a Charger fan my entire life since I was 7 years old. And, my colors still bleed the same, blue and the bold. But my one thing is that I'm seeing a lot of the culture change with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. Everybody's bought into it. Players like him. And the only hard part is, and you know this, is that adversity can come at you in every single angle. I'm watching it every week. Offensive line struggles. Herbert, we know, making the decisions and throwing it to a lot of his components. There's a lot of challenges up from here. Going into the bye week, there's a lot of things they have to evaluate and they have to take in with the amount of weeks they've played. And from your experiences overcoming these adversities, what do you think is going to be going through the minds of Jim Harbaugh, Herbert, and the rest of the squad when they get prepared to face Raider week after the bye?
You got to fix the O-line woes. Got to keep Justin Herbert upright. That's where it all, starts. That's where it all fall apart. If he's standing upright, you win the ball games, you're going to be in them. And if he's not, you're not going to be in the games. You're going to get what you got on Sunday, 35-6. And he was sacked multiple times. And we've seen him operate when he's given a good pocket. So, their struggles start right there. Like you fix that, I think the Chargers are in business.
I thought about this, and from where they've sat at, they've got two great tackles. Now, both of them are obviously out for the season due to injuries. But my biggest question mark, though, when the season started was obviously at center. And I think a lot of Charger fans have also voiced about that many, many times. But my biggest thing is even going up and into the draft. To me, I would like to see them draft a center for the future. And at the same time, there are going to be some veterans, I'm sure, that might end up hitting the free agent market when that comes around. But do you think, because I thought about this, my biggest, I was torn by it because as much as I love Ladd McConkey, going back to that part and thinking about it between him and Jackson Powers Johnson, it had to have been the hardest decision they've had to make, but they knew they had to make the best decision possible. So do you think this is going to be something the Chargers at some point in the draft, they're going to have to address the important position because that's your vocalist. That's your guy that's a captain on that line, and they got to get that right.
I think sometimes you get content when you have a guy that was as long tenured as Nick Hardwick. You get content in the fact that you can find anybody to do it, and then you realize that you can't. So I think it'll be a focal point in the upcoming draft for sure.
I'll tell you what, as a former cornerback, I've watched, with Jesse Minter, he is a very smart defensive coordinator. I love a lot of the schemes that he's put together, but I think what most people don't talk about is how big the reshaping of the secondary has looked like, Quentin. And I think, Derwin James being the star safety, and then all around, you've got a lot of these young kids, Cam Hart and Tarheeb Still, and even when you got Dante Jackson, who I think under the radar was a very sneaky signing, and the way that they had to play certain schemes. Yeah. When you look at that, and as for, because you came in as a former first-round pick, and to develop into a defensive secondary where we got to be shut down. We got to find ways to shut the passing down. What have you been impressed with the secondary from last year and then up to thus far?
I think it starts right there in the heart of that defense to me, who is Derwin James, like he's the guy that gets the fire lit under those guys' ass, So I think that's, having him and, as like coming in, like a guy like Dante Jackson coming in, you get to lean on a guy like that, you get to lean on the guy that is in the film room studying. He's there early, he's there late. He's doing everything he can to help this team win. And I think when you get a guy in the locker room like that you can lean on, I think it influences the younger guys to come along too. And you can see the difference that is making in the last 2 years. It's just, it's just Derwin's presence, being on the field, being healthy, just being out there, getting those guys together. And that's what you need in every secondary, a guy like that.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So you've had the pleasure of playing alongside and on opposite sides, even up and in practice, where you played with Drew Brees. You've also played with Phillip Rivers. I mean, Justin Herbert is an absolute competitor. I mean, I watch it from day in, day out. Watching him take the hits that he does, watching him trying to overcome a lot of the adversity that's faced his way, even when things are whether they're working right or they're not, but he's finding certain ways. I mean, I know with like playing for this very organization, and you've heard this from many of the fans here, but eventually, Quentin, and I don't know, we might actually see a completely different story by the time that we get through the rest of this season and then go right up and into the playoffs. But at some point, right, it's trying to rewrite what has been written on the wall for its existence for a long time. But watching Herbert, do you believe, though, with this organization, he can make that happen, and how it's just got to be done?
Okay, I can give you my political version of that answer, or I can give you the real Quentin version of that answer. So
I'm great with both.
You tell me which one you want on your show. So,
hey, you know what? I love getting the Quentin answer. That's for sure.
That's the Quentin answer. You want the Quentin answer?
Absolutely.
Quentin answer is, man, generationally, the organization is fucking cursed, man. I'm telling you. There's something about it. I don't know what's going on, but that organization is cursed, man. I mean, look at the start of this season. We got everything that we need to push, make a strong push for a Super Bowl. We lose both tackles to injury. It's every year it's a fucking injury that we lose games because of an injury. It's always an injury. You get in the playoffs, we get best players injured. It's like, what the hell going on? We just can't get over that hump. Why can't we get over that hump? And it's just, I don't know. I grew up in the South, right next to Louisiana. So, I believe in superstitions and all of the bullshit. But I mean, yeah, I really think that organization, for whatever reason, is cursed.
Man. And you know what? There's going to definitely be some exercising that needs to happen in this organization. Something. At least
got to happen.
Absolutely. I do want to discuss shifting up to Denver. I mean, this defense is flat out phenomenal. I mean, the secondaries with Pat Surtain and their young rookie Jahdae Barron from Texas in your alumni. And I just think what I have a hard time with here, Quentin, is as much as I absolutely applaud this defense, my problem is that with the offense, with Bo Nix, it feels a lot like a diesel engine. You have to clean this thing up in order for it to run well, right? And it took like 3 quarters, and then you get into the 4th quarter, and it's like, okay, they finally have hit somewhere.
Yep.
I feel like somewhere in that, when you get into the playoffs, there are going to be some physical teams that are going to figure that out, and they're going to figure that out very quickly, because you're not going to play like that against, a physical team like even with Kansas City, Philadelphia. I feel like the Rams and
Buffalo.
Seattle. Yeah, Buffalo, another one. So
Yeah.
when you think about this, as much as Denver can harp about being first in the AFC West, do you feel like there's going to be a point where there's going to be a road blockage up front?
I I don't think so, but I'm a defensive-minded player, and I think defense wins championships, and I think that defense can win a championship. I mean, what was it? The 2000 Ravens with the crazy defense and a sputtering offense, and they won the Super Bowl. I think the Denver Broncos could be that. You don't. I mean, with a defense like that, I mean, you just need to outscore the opponent by 3, by 1. And with a defense like that, I mean, you holding teams to 10 or less points, you need to score 11. So, okay, offense, go put up 11. I don't care how long it takes you to get it done. Just get it done.
Yep. Yeah, and it's a fight of inches, right? It's a game of inches any given Sunday at the end of the day. My final question before we move on is, I see a lot of this shift in the AFC West, and I was really hoping that, I mean, obviously right now the Raiders are going through dysfunction. It's unfortunate. I mean, but
no, it's not unfortunate. I don't like the Raiders.
Oh, absolutely. I feel the same. And the thing is that Kansas City, they're on their toes now. I mean, they've had their reign of dominance for the last few years, and we all knew that, like, okay, they figured some things out and all the rest of it. I feel like, to me, they're spoiled with Patrick Mahomes because it only took a certain amount of time until, hey, Chargers get Jim Harbaugh and the Broncos get Sean Payton. This ain't no simple division anymore. And so how do you kind of predict this in the next few years? Because this is going to be like sharks in an entire swimming pool that is going to be fighting each other, biting each other, and it's just more exciting more than anything else. But how do you kind of predict this with this division for years?
You don't, because like you explained, it's going to be the most exciting division in football for years to come. And like you said, it's shark swimming. Everybody want to see it. It's Monday Night Football, it's Sunday Night Football. That's what everybody want to see. So it's very hard to predict. But I really think that with that young defense in Denver, I think they're gonna be really good for a long time, because that young secondary is gonna be really good, bro.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
good. Especially, with that pass rush that they have. So they're gonna be, and it's a young pass rush. So they're gonna be good for a long time, as long as they can keep their players, their core group. They're gonna be good for a long time.
I'll tell you what, it's a funny side note, because I said here on the show yesterday that really threw off Denver fans. And it was actually, it started up on Fox Sports, but it was a comparison when it came to the season. And it was mostly towards Bo Nix. Bo Nix, in 11 games that we've already seen, and then what is comparable was the 2010 Jets with Mark Sanchez. My only thing about this was, he kind of felt like he was a little on cruise control because the Jets defense was doing any and every way that they can to make stops. Now, Denver is far above that. I mean, they've already accumulated more sacks than the 84 Bears. And then on top of it, their pass rate in the air, best in the league. And so I just feel like, and that's where we knew where the Jets were in 2010 and how far they got. That's why I'm thinking the roadblock at some point in that offense, that's not going to be a good feeling if that becomes reality. Because eventually you got to be able to put points up, secure it, defend it, and win the game in the trenches any and every way you can, right?
I just think they have more weapons than that Jets team. I think this Denver Broncos team have more weapons on offense than that Jets team had. So I think once they get it clicking, if they can, I think they'll be way better than that Jets team. So in my eyes, though, this young Denver Broncos team is they could make a big push in the next couple years.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's going to be a wild, wild west, man. But I'll tell you what, I love the fact that the Chargers are going to be coming back off the bye, and they're going to be up at home, back in those supercharger navy blues that give me such nostalgia. That has to be the motivator. That has to be the fuel that gives them fire in the bellies and ready to roll against Raider Week, right?
No, exactly the opposite. That ass whooping that they just took should be the fire in their belly to get them going. Because if you take an ass whooping like that,
yep,
the only thing you can do is fight.
Absolutely, man. That's all you can do is fight and fight for every inch, man. I just got to see how they plan out up from here. Quentin,
got to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Quentin, appreciate you for coming on by up and onto the show, man. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, man. Enjoy it and enjoy the holiday seasons, and we'll see you soon, my friend.
You too, man. Anytime you need me, always here, bro.
Absolutely, man. Love it. Take care of yourself.
All right, you too.
There you go. And it's interesting when you think about it because, I mean, they got this Broncos